At 10:11 p.m., she sent her sister a message. "I'm getting into a random truck with some cowboys." Hours later, Sarah Ebersol disappeared without a trace, leaving behind her shoes, her phone, and a mystery that still has investigators baffled. Before we dive in, just a quick note. Every week we uncover 3 new mysteries and true crime stories that keep you questioning everything. Subscribe and don't miss what's coming next. 1896, the year Sarah Galvan Ebersol was born in Sarasota, Florida. The youngest of 7 siblings, she entered a world already marked by instability. Her parents' home was chaotic, and much of her childhood was spent searching for a sense of safety. That comfort eventually came from her maternal aunt and uncle, who took her in and gave her the stability she desperately needed. As a teenager, Sarah occasionally stayed with her older siblings in Dunallen, bouncing between relatives' homes as she tried to build her own sense of belonging. Those who knew her say she was gentle, caring, and always smiling, the kind of person who carried warmth even when her own life felt cold. But above all, she loved her young daughter, Cora, more than anything in the world. In 2014, at just 18, Sarah married Thomas Allen Ebersol, hoping marriage might bring the security she'd longed for. But reality hit hard. By November 5, 2015, barely a year later, the couple divorced, and Sarah began a new chapter, one that would test her strength more than ever before. She took up work as an exotic dancer, earning just enough to cover rent while sharing custody of her daughter with Joseph "Joey" Matten, Cora's father. Cora primarily lived with Joey, but Sarah was a devoted mother, constantly calling, visiting, and sending gifts. Her sister Michelle Tullis remained her biggest supporter, and the two spoke almost daily. Then came the night that changed everything, March 2, 2023. Sarah had just finished her shift and called Michelle around 7 p.m. She even told her to tell the kids she said hello. Michelle couldn't make it that night, so Sarah decided to walk to a nearby Circle K at 17900 North Highway 441 in Reddick, Florida. Surveillance footage later confirmed she arrived at the store, bought a few snacks, and appeared calm, unaware that those few moments would become her final recorded appearance alive. A few hours later, that now infamous text arrived on Michelle's phone. "I'm getting into a random truck with some cowboys. Hope they take me for a ride." It sounded casual, playful even. But deep down, Michelle couldn't shake the feeling that something about it felt off. Cameras outside the store showed Sarah entering a black 2005 Chevy Silverado 2500 HD, driven by Leonard Anderson. Riding alongside him was James "Bubba" Robinson. According to Anderson, he dropped Sarah and Robinson off at a house on the 18,000 block of North US Highway 441, a property divided into 2 small units, one side occupied by Robinson, the other by James Schaller and Tisha McDermott. Inside, Sarah spent the next few hours socializing, listening to music, and chatting. Nothing appeared out of the ordinary. But at 1:24 a.m., Robinson began texting a man named Tyrone D. Mormon, asking if he wanted to see Sarah. By 4 a.m., a blue 2017 Hyundai Sonata pulled up outside. Witnesses said Sarah left with the man who arrived, but confusion immediately clouded the details. Some witnesses described the man as Hispanic, with long dark hair, a look that didn't match Mormon's appearance at all. Others thought he might have been an Uber driver, but police confirmed no ride had been requested from Sarah's phone that night. So, who was the man behind the wheel? And why did Sarah, a cautious young mother, willingly leave with him? When Michelle couldn't reach her over the next 2 days, panic set in. On March 5th, she reported Sarah missing. Calls went straight to voicemail, and text messages remained unread, something completely out of character for Sarah. When Michelle visited her sister's home, she found an eerie scene. Sarah's shoes were inside. Her cigarettes and lighter sat untouched on the porch. It looked as though she'd stepped outside for just a moment and never came back. What was missing, however, told a different story. Gone were her toothbrush, makeup, a teddy bear given to her when Cora was born, important legal documents about her daughter's name change, and a binder containing information on Joey Matten's criminal record. There were no signs of a struggle, no forced entry, and no activity on her phone, social media, or bank accounts after that night. It was as if Sarah had been erased. When police questioned Tyrone Mormon, he denied ever seeing her, claiming he was out of town, but his story unraveled quickly. Surveillance footage showed him with Sarah at another convenience store in northwest Marion County that same night. Cell phone data matched their movements. When investigators asked for his phone, he said he'd thrown it away, only for a witness to reveal he still had it. In December 2023, Mormon was arrested for lying to law enforcement but later released on bond. Despite mounting evidence, he has refused to cooperate and remains the last confirmed person to see Sarah alive. But the mystery didn't end there, because 2 months later, another key figure, James Bubba Robinson, was found dead from a drug overdose. He allegedly recorded something that could change everything: a video confession. Before his death, James Bubba Robinson allegedly recorded a short video confession, one that would reignite the entire investigation. In that video, Robinson reportedly claimed that on the night Sarah vanished, he and Tyrone Mormon carried an unconscious Sarah into Mormon's vehicle, a car later identified as belonging to Mormon's fiancée, Shayla Richardson. What happened after that, no one knows for certain. Robinson's overdose came before investigators could question him further. His death left behind more questions than answers, and a growing sense that the truth had been buried along with him. For Sarah's sister, Michelle Tullis, the pain never faded. She became the driving force behind the search, launching GoFundMe campaigns, organizing awareness rallies, and pushing relentlessly for updates from the Marion County Sheriff's Office. Each day that passed without progress felt like another betrayal, another reminder that time was running out. In December 2023, search teams brought in cadaver dogs to comb through areas linked to Sarah's last known movements. One of the dogs gave a positive alert, raising hopes that new evidence might finally surface. But when investigators returned to the site, no human remains were recovered. For Michelle, it felt like yet another failure in a long line of missed opportunities. Around that same time, she discovered what she described as a crime scene-like environment inside a motel room previously accessed by Joseph "Joey" Matten, the father of Sarah's child. Matten had allegedly broken into a room at Ocala Suites, changed the locks, and taken it over for several days. When Michelle visited the site, she found disturbing signs, but investigators never processed the room for forensic evidence. To Sarah's family, it was a devastating oversight and possibly a crucial mistake. Matten's behavior both before and after Sarah's disappearance had already raised concerns. Family members claimed he had illegally accessed Sarah's email, tracked her phone location, and even monitored her messages and photos 24/7. When Sarah discovered the breach, she bought a new phone, but the invasion of privacy left her terrified. Matten also faced multiple evictions, job losses, and even allegations of child abuse, all of which deepened suspicion. Yet, despite his history, no solid evidence ever tied him directly to Sarah's disappearance. Then came another dark twist involving Sarah's ex-husband, Thomas Allen Ebersol. In January 2024, Thomas was arrested after driving to Ohio to pick up a 16-year-old girl he had met through online gaming. He brought her to Florida, where investigators say he engaged in unlawful sexual activity. By early 2025, he pled guilty to transporting a minor across state lines with intent to engage in sexual conduct and was sentenced to over 11 years in federal prison. He will remain on the sex offender registry for life. The discovery of Thomas's crimes only made Sarah's story darker, as if everyone connected to her life carried shadows of their own. Despite these tangled webs, Investigators refocused on the one man still holding the most unanswered questions: Tyrone D. Mormon. In March 2024, 1 year after Sarah vanished, the Marion County Sheriff's Office officially named him as the last person to see Sarah alive and the primary person of interest. But even then, no charges were filed. Mormon refused to speak. He offered no explanation, no timeline, no emotion, just silence. Meanwhile, Sarah's family continued their own search, posting flyers, creating petitions, and keeping her story alive online. They begged for public attention, demanding transparency from law enforcement. But it seemed that even the system had forgotten her. For nearly 2 years, the Marion County Sheriff's Office failed to update her missing persons flyer. It wasn't until January 2025, after endless requests from Michelle, that the department finally released an updated version, a small victory in a case drowning in frustration. Today, the official narrative remains the same. Sarah Ebersol is missing, but her family believes there's far more to the story. A web of lies, cover-ups, and secrets connecting the people she once trusted most. They believe someone, maybe more than one person, knows exactly what happened that night. Sarah's story is one of love, resilience, and tragic uncertainty. A young mother who worked hard to build stability, surrounded by people who kept pulling her world apart. At the time of her disappearance, Sarah Gail Van Ebersol was 26 years old, a Caucasian female, 5 feet, 1 inch tall, weighing around 120 pounds, with blonde hair and blue eyes. She had a distinctive tattoo of Kokopelli, a fertility deity playing a flute on her right hip. When last seen, she was wearing a black sweatshirt, a light-colored sequin tank top, and either a black skirt or pants. She also had roughly $1,000 in cash with her. Since that night, there has been no confirmed sighting, no digital footprint, and no physical trace. Her sister Michelle still refuses to give up. Through social media interviews and community events, she continues to fight, not just for answers, but for justice. The Marion County Sheriff's Office insists the case remains open and active, urging anyone with information to call 3522-732-911 until someone speaks. The mystery of what really happened to Sarah Ebersol will remain one of Florida's most haunting unsolved disappearances, a case defined not by what was found, but by what was left behind.